my number one guy is Jordan Addison. And this is more of me staying put on what I thought last year. Because if you would have asked me last year this question, like the top guys who are gonna come out, I would be like, fuck, man, I think Jackson Smith and Jordan Addison are better than Drake London and Christian Watson and almost that whole receiver class last year. That's how I truly felt about these guys.
I remember telling you when I watched Kenny Pickett, I'm like, who's this guy he's throwing to? And you're like, oh, that's Jordan Addison. He's going to USC. Yeah. And I was like, wow. And then when I watched the tape, I was just very underwhelmed this year.
He did not have that good of a year. Now, the good thing about Jordan Addison is that we have tape from this year. Jackson Smith didn't play this year.
Yeah, he played 2 games.
Exactly. So, Jordan Addison, to me, route runner fucking tech. Like, he's amazing at it. One of the best in this class. Sweet feet, fluid hips, great with the ball in his hands. Seems to be just fast enough. He's not a burner. He's not Jalen Hyatt, obviously, but I do think he has some speed to him.
I was very underwhelmed by his speed on film, and then when he ran the 40, I thought he'd at least clock in with a faster one. And then I heard he's hurt, so I'm interested to see, because when we're taping this, we haven't seen the USC Pro Day, and I would have loved to see that just to kind of back it up. Again, I think he's a guy who's quicker than he is fast. I really like the way he's able to move in and out of breaks. Spoiler alert, he's 6. Yeah. He's very close to being on the list for me. To me, it was just like, man, he's a really small frame. He doesn't have much catching radius. He's not like a type of guy who's like that. I think he's a really good slot. Really good slot guy.
There's a lot of really good slots.
That's why I kind of put some preference on Hyatt, who I think can win on the outside too. Maybe I should have said that, but I think Addison's a guy who's going to do really good things in the slot. I'm worried about him playing against strong corners or corners that get up in his face and just want to throw him around.
Can get bullied at times.
Yeah.
And the size, 5'11", 173, another light guy in the ass.
You kind of want to think without the speed, are like how teams are just going to get up in him and just want to throw him around. And, you can say guys like Julian Edelman's not that fast. Julian Edelman was so elite in and out of breaks. I don't know if this guy is that. Yeah. And Julian Edelman was pretty built. He was strong.
I just think the Pitt tapes, the
Pitt tape is so much better.
Yes, but it answers a lot of questions that we have right now.
Yeah,
but you're like,
you would think with the Heisman Trophy, Caleb Williams presumed number 1 pick. And I was like, well, are they going to throw the ball to this guy at some point? And then when I saw him, I didn't see the separation I saw in Pitt when it came to getting open.
They used them a lot different in USC though. They used them in a lot of different ways. Speed sweeps. Wide receiver reverses, a lot of wide receiver screens. In Pitt, he was more of the typical receiver, and you've seen a lot of that stuff that we're saying right now. But I love the kid, man. I really do. I think a lot of the testing that got done in the combine was a lot of due to injury. I think he toughed it out. He wasn't a little bitch about it. He was like, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna do my work. I'm not gonna fucking skip out on all this. I'm gonna tell teams like, I'm a competitor, bro. I want to get out there and do it.
Who did you have for a player comp for him?
I had Calvin Ridley and Devontae Smith's body.
I put Jahan Dotson / Robert Woods. Robert Woods, the earlier part, people don't remember, like when he was on the Rams, and he was really good on the Rams, especially when he got the ball in his hands. Yeah. I think you're going to kind of, if you get Jordan Addison, you're going to kind of have to scheme him open a little bit rather than just letting him go.
I love that you brought that up because I put in my notes, needs to be in an offense where motion is key, kind of like a Stephon Diggs, moving them all over the fucking place.
I should have probably said this before, but I don't feel like any of these receivers can just line them up.
Alphas.
Just win.
There's one guy, in my opinion.
I actually have one guy too, and it's not even my number one. It's more like my number one is so much more dangerous because of the speed, but when it comes down to it, there's no Calvin. There's no blue chipper. I thought Jackson Smith and Jigba was going to be a blue chipper when I saw it. I was like, oh, you scare me. Scare me here. I don't see you win on the outside a lot. Yeah. You're in a stacked offense. No one's worried about you that much. That's just it's just the receiver class in general. I think there's a lot of top end 2s, and maybe my top 2 guys can be 1s. That's how I feel about it.
So what if Jordan Addison winds up on Kansas City?
That would be a very interesting thing. How do you say it's not going to work with Andy Reid? But again, I don't see a lot of special from Jordan Addison. I see a lot of, that's really good.
I see special with Pitt.
That's good. I saw more special with Pitt than I did USC, but you would think it would have transferred over. Yeah, that's just how I feel.
I just find it crazy, bro, that you don't have him on the list. And
he's 6. I find it crazy you're so low on Jalen Hyatt when he's got so many raw.
He's 5.
He's so low on the list.
I know, because he's your number 1.
Yeah.